All right, you ready, big guy?
Yeah.
Put this here.
Oh, hold on. Let me open the Google Doc because I actually did forget to do that. When did you send that? I don't know. Oh, I got it. I got it. Relax.
Tell me when you have it open. All right, I should go
Um,
on now.
yeah, so the way I imagined this going in my head,
It's like emergency pod. Need to talk about this.
yeah, you say that, but then but then you say like, so Dylan, the United States isn't going to be in the World Cup. And then I just pop off. And then after I'm done my rant, you circle back and hit points you think were important. And then we could talk about other things like Fox, Nike, Taylor Twellman, stuff like that.
You want
You
to
feel me?
have like your rant be like called anything? Like, do you want a segment name for that shit?
No, we can make a segment if I ever have a rant again, because then it'll be like a recurring thing.
Right. Because for our other pod, when we start like the show with like gross time, which is like Noah's time to rant, because his name is Noah Gross,
Yeah.
and we started off like, oh, so smelly, so smelly, because it's gross time. So, dude, I'm creative, okay? Fucking praise me. Oh shit, we're live. Are you ready now?
Yeah. Anytime you're ready, I'm ready.
All right. Before I go into you, I'm gonna finish
That's what
the
she said.
intro, then theme song, then come, and then you do your rant.
All right. Don't really understand any of that, but I assume I'll know when to go when it's time.
All right. 3, 2, 1. What the sports is up, people? Welcome to the Soccer Scoop podcast. Alongside Dylan Gertzley, I'm Kevin Brown, and we're here to give you your scoop of soccer talk in a pretty bad dark time, Dylan.
Dark days, Kevin.
We got to get this emergency pod going here so we can give our takes about United States not qualifying for the 2018 World Cup in Russia. Silly me, but got a lot to talk about for that, so let's get right into it.
How bad must your national team be to not even make a playoff spot in a 6-team group where 5 of the teams have a shot at going to the World Cup? How bad do you have to be to go into the
Four
final
teams. Four
day?
teams.
Well, then there's the 5th team, which is in a playoff.
The fourth is in playoff.
Oh,
We
okay,
finished fifth.
whatever. 4. Still, that's 66% of the teams, right?
That's true. That's true. Good math.
Okay. How bad must you be to go in on a Tuesday night against the worst team in the group that's won one game the entire qualifying cycle and have that game be the only thing you need to do to go to the World Cup in Russia when you have Christian Pulisic, the 19-year-old kid who's the best player America's ever produced, and he's 19. You want to take him to a World Cup. You want to bring through the new generation of talent. You want to give Clint Dempsey his swan song. You want to see stupid Michael Bradley's ugly bald head on the field for one last time. You want to see Tim Howard record another couple clean sheets, and you want to see no, you don't want to see any of that anymore. And good, because you're not going to, because they're absolute shit and they got kicked out for being absolute shit. You can't concede 2 goals. What own goal was that from Omar Gonzalez? What are you doing, dude? The energy levels, they weren't there. The effort, it wasn't there. It was embarrassing to watch this team represent my country and go out there and just do what? What were they doing? What were they doing? They were standing around. There was no running. There was no energy. That field, I don't care about the field. I don't care about the field. They look like my high school team out there. They look like garbage. No one cared. No one gave any effort. Yeah, well, that's not true. DeAndre Yedlin, he gave effort. He gave effort. That guy, he's on the come up. He's going to be a really good right back. Pulisic, he gave a little bit of effort, but he was frustrated. Michael Bradley just stood around, didn't do shit all game. He collect the ball, look around, and give it back to Omar Gonzalez, and then Omar Gonzalez almost put it into his own net again. What about when the ball hits the ground, bounces in front of Tim Howard? He can't even catch it.
Unbelievable.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Pathetic, dude.
This entire qualifying round was broken.
12 points from 10 games, Dylan.
Is abysmal.
12.
We have 320 million people, and we couldn't beat these Panama, Honduras, and Trinidad and Tobago. What? You kidding me? That fat ass from Toronto is the reason Panama's going through to the playoff.
Who's that?
Or no, is he on Seattle? I can't remember.
Yeah,
The fat ass
on Seattle. He's on Seattle.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. This stupid ESPN FC writer, Darren Rovell, said, how is the U.S. ever going to convince Christian Pulisic to play in the MLS if they don't make the World Cup? And I said, Darren, you fucking idiot. Why would we ever want players to come play here? Why?
Well,
why do we want that?
Because we want to grow MLS.
No, we don't. It's a broken league.
Because it started in 1990s.
No, you can't give that excuse. Look at the way the rest of the world runs soccer.
Yeah, because they started in the 1890s.
Because they created the game.
Yeah, and we
right.
didn't.
Yeah, well, so why can't we just mimic them? No, we're not playing catch up. We created our own game. We call it a different name.
I mean, that's true, but
we don't do anything that they do. The United States is a pay-to-play system. I played soccer because my parents could afford to have me play soccer. Right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of broken.
Where's promotion and relegation? Where's the pressure? Where's the incentive to do well in the MLS? Where's the incentive to do well in the MLS? Where is it? It's not there. Where's $6 million of salary going this year? Right into Andrea Pirlo's pocket when he hasn't done anything.
And then he retires mid-season.
And you could have given it to 100 young American players. You could have paid them $60,000 a year. They would have been happy, and they could have grown. You wouldn't even have to pay them $60,000 a year. Come on, dude. And Bruce Arena says nothing needs to change. Nothing needs to change, he says. Sunil Gulati, what the hell is he doing? Why would you fire a coach and then hire him again when you need? Like, that doesn't make any sense. When this guy's only job was to get them through qualifying in a group that isn't even hard to qualify in.
Bruce Arena, before the game, I'd like to see one of these European teams come in the CONCACAF. They would absolutely destroy those teams.
Because they would be on point every game. There was no that U.S. team destroyed Panama. That U.S. team should have destroyed Trinidad and Tobago, except they came out flat. No effort, no energy, no respect for the shirt, no respect for their country. Bruce Arena didn't make any changes to the starting 11, and then he waits around until halftime.
He honestly should not have had to. It was all about effort, like you just said.
So then put in a guy like Clint Dempsey, you put him in at the 25th minute and shake things up if no one's paying. Who was that guy playing left back? He was horrible.
Villafania?
So bad. I've never seen anyone so bad. Darlington Nagbe looked awful.
I was a big fan of Nagbe.
No, the second half, he made a couple cool runs. Didn't amount to anything, of course. But in the first half, he was bullied. He was pushed off the ball, beaten to every second ball. Woeful passing. Woeful passing from that Villafania piece of trash player. What are you giving up fouls in the 87th minute for? You're getting yellow cards in the 87th minute, then you already lost the game because you're wasting the clock for the other team.
They weren't even running after the ball to stop the effort
was nothing
from the last 10 to 15 minutes to the effort throughout the first half. was absolutely pathetic. And what like angers me is it just wasn't this game. It was like the whole, like I said, 12 points from 10 games. Failed to qualify last couple of Olympics, so that's carrying over. Our youth system broken, so it's a lot of things going on here, and United States is very far behind where they need to be to become even. People thought we were going to be able to like not challenge, but like the average soccer fan that really doesn't pay attention that much say, "Oh, we can take Germany, right?" We are so far behind, and I really like. We'll get into Tara Twelman's full rant, but the beginning of his rant started with, "Now Germany collapsed in their own way. Not quite as they didn't not qualify for a major tournament. They were in the Euros of 2000. They only managed to get 1 point, and then they revamped the whole Bundesliga and second tiers and everything. And look what happens 14 years later.
They bring home the trophy.
So what does the U.S. have to do? That's my question to you.
Well, I already gave you the answer. They have to mimic Europe. It's not hard. The U.S. does not need to win a World Cup to be successful. I don't think so. I mean, I think a Copa America would be cool. I think a Gold Cup every year would be pretty cool. It's really not that hard to be successful as an American national soccer team. It's not, because we don't expect much, because we know our place. We would say go to the World Cup, get in the round of 16, and then we'll see what happens.
How about just competent leadership from the top?
It's not. I don't think it's going to happen because MLS is broken, because it's obsessed with the money. The reason there's no promotion and relegation is because the owners can't see past losing that much money.
Okay, yes, you have a point that MLS is like a big problem with the development of some of the youth players in this country, but I'm also talking about the U.S. Soccer Federation from itself is just not doing enough. They care about the revenue too much as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think when I said pay to play, I think they need to try to eliminate that. The problem is it's like it's like cancer. It's here. It's the way it's set up, and it's not going anywhere. You can't change it. You're never going to change pay to play. They're never ever going to change it. The business model is too successful, right?
Capitalism.
Yeah. I read an interesting article that said no country that has ever won a World Cup shares a border with a country that hasn't won a World Cup.
That's trippy.
That's insane.
What about the first World Cup winners?
Okay. The United States just needs to do everything that everyone else has already shown works a million times. Didn't Spain do that in 2010? Their boys all came up together. They're all the same damn age.
Right. And Spain didn't mimic anyone, though. They kind of just did it themselves.
No, I'm not saying there's intricacies involved. I'm saying the rough blueprint boiled down is rip everything up, fix your domestic league to put a more of a focus on youth players, and just work from the bottom to the top to just fine-tune talent from the youngest age.
And see, I like your intentions because you want to fix the system and make sure the youth get the development they need for this nation to do better in international play. But the way you're trying to go about it is just kind of absurd, and I completely disagree. And I'll tell you why. I'm gonna plug my journalism side project from the left bench. Check out my piece on the Maryland men's soccer team, some enlightening stuff because talking to those guys, it just made me realize like none of them like they were all like, oh my god, we're devastated. U.S. soccer didn't make the World Cup. How could this happen? But they were also saying when asked, hey, what can we fix with this broken youth system? They're like, I think we're headed in the right direction, and they kind of have me convinced. They're saying the academies are starting to work, shown with some of the success of the U20 team for US that has like, I mean, not a lot of success, like minimum success, but like they're still pretty good. Some talented players in that pool. But the academies of like having players go to the academies and then I'm not sure if it's just a culture thing, but then going to college and then going pro. I'm not completely against it. I don't think you completely tear that apart. I think you should keep the academies, keep all of that. Some of the restructuring I would love to see in MLS that you mentioned starts with promotion relegation, and for that to happen, it's gonna happen like at least like no sooner than 5 years because that's just the way that would work with money wise and stuff. But yeah, I mean, the youth systems, I think they're headed in the right direction because
I'm not trying to say they're not, and Christian Pulisic kind of points to the fact that they're not. The fact that he was able to go to Dortmund at such a young age and become a superstar, such a rapid pace. Obviously, the United States was doing something right with the early part of his development.
absolutely.
But, and then the other thing is, like you said, the U20 team, something has shown where those guys are not yet ready to take the step up to be full internationals, or it rests on the coach to say, I'm not going to pull these guys up because they're not playing for their team or whatever. I don't even know if these guys have been given a fair look. And that's another issue entirely. The other thing is the fact that we now missed this World Cup means these young guys don't get a chance to break into the biggest stage and really show what they've learned, right? The young guys that we already have.
No Julian Greens, no for this World Cup. No, no. Yeah, exactly. I completely agree with you. I couldn't think of another young player.
Well, Landon Donovan was a young gun on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
He came up, and it's the same thing with Pulisic, and it's the same thing for a couple other guys. DeAndre Yedlin was with Julian Green as well.
Right.
That changed the entire game for him. He now plays for Newcastle. He got to move to Tottenham,
and he's doing quite
right?
well with Newcastle.
He's doing pretty well. So we don't get that chance anymore.
Absolutely.
And it's not saying that there aren't successful, talented guys out there. And I'm not saying rip up the academy system in that sense. I'm saying just focus on it. Make improvements. Put money into it. Build some academies. Build some awesome facilities.
That's something they're going to have to do. And it's not going to be easy. We know that. We don't have all the answers. But I don't know. Something's got to happen. And just, wow. We are just so bad. 12 points, 10 games. Still baffles me. I was so, like, speechless and, like, gutted. We found out in the middle of recording.
They scored that second goal, that it was over. The amount of effort they were showing, I knew wasn't going to change at the flip of a switch. You know, if it didn't change from the first goal, it wasn't going to change from the second.
Yeah. Former Terp, Omar Gonzalez. Poor him. I feel really bad for him, but
I don't feel bad for him.
I don't feel bad for the other players because no, I feel bad for a couple of them, including Gonzalez, and the ones that didn't try as much, like Bradley. Never a big Bradley fan. Just wow, unbelievable. But hey, you know what? I'm not sure if this metaphor is quite appropriate, but I'm gonna use it, and you can tell me how edgy it is. But so after the Las Vegas shooting, all the Republicans are saying, "Hey, no, don't want to talk about gun control. We just want to mourn this loss." Like when I looked at Twitter last night, that's how I felt. I was like, man, I don't want to talk about fixing this yet. I'm just like so devastated about this loss, and I felt so sad that I was going to be able to watch my team and be patriotic with all the other stupid non-soccer fans that come along every 4 years.
What does the World Cup look like for us now? I mean, for us, we're big fans, so we're going to watch it and we're going to enjoy it. But there's no Netherlands, there's no Chile, there's no Wales, there's no United States or our own home country.
Yeah,
Definitely some teams missing for me. I mean, obviously, most notably the United States. I was thinking about it today. I was like, yeah, I don't care if the United States. I care so much.
right.
There's
So
an
that's what I
obsession. There's
realized
an
last night.
obsession. There's a passion, and it's just not going to be there this time.
And it's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be like so different from 2010, 2014. I got so into those Ian Dark games. It was crazy.
Yeah, except Ian Dark is trash and another part of United States soccer problem.
Dude, that Algeria call brings me back, dude. Glory days. But yeah, like you said, something that made me feel a lot better about not qualifying is Chile didn't qualify.
Yeah,
And
but they're in a much harder group.
oh, much harder. But they beat them all last 3 summers when they won like 3 Copa Americas.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how they didn't qualify.
Like what? I was so like confused. I did not even think they were in danger of not qualifying, and then boop, Chile out, Uruguay in.
Yeah, so now Sanchez has no
Okay,
reason to play for Arsenal
why? Explain yourself.
because he doesn't need to appear in games to warrant a spot on a World Cup roster because there is no World Cup roster for him.
So you're saying he's just gonna eat up his contract and not play for Arsenal?
That's what I would do.
That'd be
If I
a
was, if I was an
bitch
Arsenal player,
ass move.
if I was an Arsenal player, I would say, you know what, this team is trash, and I
You
could
know
sit here
what?
and collect my cash.
You know what? I have no integrity, no love for the game, so I'll just do that. Yeah, okay. That's a stupid move. Stupid. But also, we knew the Dutch weren't gonna make it. We figured that out last podcast. But I feel bad for Robin. It's his last international game.
I hate Robin. I don't care.
Score scorcher. Wales, they kind of came out of the blue, and my boy Ramsey won't make it. He's
Good.
so good. I was talking to you this before we went live here. Serbia overtook Wales and Austria, and I love playing with Austria on FIFA because I just bossed the game up with Alba. But I guess Alba's not that good anymore because like Mbappe just ended his career with that one goal.
Yeah, I mean,
And then there's cover.
Alba is very, very good, and a player the United States should strive to make one of their own of. But regardless,
Fabian Johnson
I don't
with the
care.
right coaching.
I don't really care that these teams didn't make it. It's the same thing as the United States. It's a lack of effort. It's a lack of skill, and
No one thinks of like the beginning process of the qualification
it's
games.
important.
Yeah, no, because it's like pretty much right after the World Cup ends.
I know it's like it's such a drawn out process.
They should really reform that because that process is really stupid. I'm always usually trusting processes, and that process I do not trust. See what I did there?
Yes, I
Also,
did see that.
Fox Sports, LOL, they paid $400 million for the broadcasting rights, $200 million for just the English broadcast, and then the other half were Spanish, I believe. But they're losing so much money without the U.S. going. Not as many people, like the non-soccer fans that come along every 4 years for the ride. They're not going to watch it anymore, and that's pretty funny to me because we're not the biggest Fox Sports guys, and a lot of like marketable teams are not going to this World Cup.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious, and I hate Fox Sports, and I hope they crash and burn. It's probably a bad thing to wish because it's important to get coverage of the game in the United States. It's really just their
And they have the
back.
channels to do it too. Like they would have done a decent job, I feel.
I don't know. I no, it's not that they wouldn't have done a decent job. I just hate the personalities they have. The opinions they offer are awful.
They have good
And
commentators though.
no,
Ooh,
the,
what if Gus Johnson called some games like he did at one
the
year for
commentators last night with beIN Sports were abysmal.
Phil Shane and Ray Hudson?
No, it wasn't them.
It was Phil Shane.
Oh, Phil Shane's awful.
And
It wasn't
I
Ray
don't think
Hudson, though,
Ray
is what I
Hudson did
meant.
it, yeah. I didn't actually watch the
Phil
game.
Shane is horrendous.
Yeah, I mean,
So
he's
bad.
actually one of my favorites, but I'll let you have that.
Don't let him be one of your favorites. He is awful.
Um, he's all right. He does play-by-play well. Maybe just not that game. Yeah, he had a bad call. Maybe he's just past his prime in general. So he's been doing it for a while. Also, what did I want to talk about next, Dylan?
Taylor Twellman.
Yeah, you want to break down that rant? Like,
I mean, it shares a lot of similarities with mine. It's
let me ask you a question. Who's smarter, Taylor Twellman or Kyle Martino?
I love Kyle Martino.
Yeah, he's such a good personality.
Taylor Twellman's grown on me too. Taylor Twellman basically says in the United States we reward mediocrity, and he's right. You know, the NFL and the NBA give teams the best draft pick when you're the worst team. There's none of that.
That's not mediocrity. That's just the worst team.
Can you let me finish, please?
Yeah, it did, dude.
He's right. You can't do that. The United States gets nothing for not going to the World Cup. The idea of tanking to bring future success doesn't work in soccer because it's not how it's done. And that's what he says. Every other country is doing it this way, but the United States is like, no, we're going to do it this way. And look where we are with this way. Look where we are.
Or maybe this is just exactly what we needed. A complete rebuild.
That's what I'm saying. If you say rebuild, that means you're throwing out the playbook that we have installed. But earlier in the show, you said you don't know if the playbook is all that bad.
Yeah, I mean, I like the playbook that we have. So, hey, we don't have all the answers, right? That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I have all the answers. And let me tell you, they don't start with Sunil Jalati or Bruce Arena or Don Garber.
Who do you hire?
Honestly, if Taylor Twellman ran for president, I might go for him. I might bring a certain Tata Martino on as head coach.
Oh, Tata? You mean Kyle?
No, I mean Tata, the coach of Atlanta United.
Yeah, he's awful.
He is not awful. You hear those players doing. Are you stupid? Have you seen Atlanta United?
Yeah, they're so good because of one player.
Because of Tata.
Oh,
You think those players would have gone there without Tata?
Probably not, because the only reason he was recognizable was because of his time at Argentina and Barcelona, both of which he came out the other end empty-handed and very underperformed. So he's not a good coach. He did very bad at Barcelona. What a stupid pick. I'm I'm very mad at that.
Oh, who are you picking? What are you sticking with, Bruce?
Now I'm
What are
gonna
you
go
what are you
with
gonna put Jurgen Klinsmann back on the seat? You
Maryland
don't,
men's
no.
soccer head
Good
coach
Lord, he's
Saso
horrible.
Lewandowski. Yeah, I mean, he'd be fun to watch though. I don't think he can handle it, but he didn't hear that from me. Um, yeah, this World Cup isn't going to be as marketable as we said for Fox Sports. Nike's going to lose out too, and the fans are losing out. So,
You you hear that? What was all that noise?
I don't know.
Just re-say what you said because it like kind of cut out on my end.
You still hear it?
Yeah, I still hear, but there was a lot of static when you were speaking. But we're wrapping it up now anyway, right?
Right. We're talking about favorite. Who are you going to root for? Do you have a team?
Yeah.
Just think of one while I talk, I guess. So, we talked about a lot of the people who are going to lose out with this. Fox Sports among them, Nike, and also the fans. U.S. fans losing out a bunch, can't root for their team. And what an awful feeling that's going to be. Not going to be able to root for our country in that World Cup. So it begs the question, Dylan, who will you root for now that the U.S. are out?
I just like watching Brazil play, and I think they have a couple of cool players: Neymar, Gabriel Jesus, Marcelo. So I think they'll be fun to watch at the very least. And
Yeah, but
obviously they're gonna
they're
do
such an
well.
annoying pick. Oh my god.
Can you let me finish? My
They
second.
complain every ref call.
Hold on. Don't care. England, solely for Adam Lallana and Nathaniel Klein and Jordan Henderson.
That's what I
I
thought you
guess
were going to say.
Chamberlain now because I also really like Dele Alli. I want to see him do well on the world's biggest stage. Also, boy Harry Kane. Be awesome to
Chamberlain
see.
is so bad at
Yes,
Liverpool. I just wanted to say that.
he's been there for like 10 days. Give him a break.
No, he's so bad.
Yeah.
He's so bad. Remember how much I liked him
The
on
other
Arsenal? That's how bad he is on
the other
Liverpool.
the other team I want to see do well is France.
Yeah,
I
me
think they
too.
had their shot at Euro glory and they kind of screwed the pooch on that one. But otherwise, an amazing, exciting core of young talent that we've talked about before, and I'd like to see them do well. So there's 3 teams for you.
Yeah,
Only one of them will win because it will be one of them.
and all three teams pretty much powerhouses. I'm going for kind of an underdog, Dylan. I was searching through the Africa teams that have been qualified so far. I was like, you know what? I kind of want an African team to do pretty well this year. We saw an Asian team do well in 2002, South Korea, go to the semifinals. But we haven't really seen an African team, I believe, do too well in recent memory. So, my friend out there. So a team that I would like to see do well is a team called Nigeria, a country called Nigeria, because my boy Alex Iwobi, I love him so much. He is the best player in my heart, and I can't wait to watch him at the World Cup. And
Also,
some of these
Iheanacho.
other, yeah, Ian Nacha, but who cares about him? Am I right? Like he kind of died off the planet of the face of the earth. Planet of the face of the earth. But if not them, like some other African team that's like not quite as good and like just upsets, like only has like one win in the group stage, but it's against like Spain, and it like kicks Spain out of the World Cup. I'd be like, nice. But other than that, I want Argentina to win it because of Messi. So
Oh yeah, it'd be cool too.
yeah, I really want Messi to win a World Cup.
Yeah, I think it would kind of cement his legacy.
Most certainly. Most certainly. So Dylan, any closing thoughts on this podcast?
The United States needs change. They need reflection. They need to look at themselves, and those players need to look at themselves in the mirror and blame themselves for not putting the United States in the 2018 World Cup in Russia.
And blame themselves. They will, hopefully, because they deserve it. And that's all we have for you on this special edition of International World Cup Qualifying News. Thank you for listening to the Soccer Scoop presented by What the Sports. Keep up with all What the Sports coverage at WTSports.net and at RealWTSports on Twitter. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to the Impractical Sports Podcast on iTunes. Leave a 5-star rating and keep listening to us right on SoundCloud. So thanks, Dylan, and thank you guys.